All right. Good morning, guys. I hope everybody's doing well. And I've been really looking forward to this YouTube Live. It's been a little bit since I was able to join you. July to just last week has just been crazy being on the road. I'm glad to be home for a few days. I head back out a couple of days to the coast to do my mastering bird and flight workshop. And I just came back from a 2 week OM system only Grand Teton Yellowstone workshop, which went incredible. I will then be leaving directly from the Texas coast to see family for 3 days and a client, say hi. And then I go to Kansas to speak for the Great Plains Nature Photographers Association. Come back home, and I'll be here until my November Big Bend workshop on that's OM only mastering manual exposure. Come back, and then I head to Brazil to see Easy and get my 3 hernias operated on. So I have a little bit of travel up ahead of me. So that's why I've got a little Christmas decoration already up, because I'm going to be gone from like December 8th on. And I love decorating for Christmas, and I'm not home a lot. So judge me if you will. You know me, I don't give a crap. So good morning, guys. I see y'all. Yeah, White Mountains of Arizona. I got to get out there soon, do some stuff out there. So thank y'all for joining me. I've got a really, I hope, interesting YouTube Live for you today. I came up with some topics that have been big on my heart. One of them we'll be talking about will be photographing in Brazil, obviously with Easy being in Brazil. And it was so wild because a photographer from there, who you're going to meet in just a minute, my first ever guest on my YouTube Live. So give me some grace if I fiddle fart things around a little bit. But Ramon will be joining us soon to share with you some of the things we're putting together for Brazil. I'm going to be talking about what it's like photographing in the Pantanal, and why we're going to open up some new areas that people haven't gone yet. Then I'm going to talk about some things I wish OM system would change, tell you some of the ideas I have and things that I would like to see that are maybe a little different on our cameras and features and settings. So, there's things I encounter all the time in the field that I think would be very helpful for you. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to anticipate wildlife action. I notice a lot of clients, they don't have a comprehensive view of wildlife behavior. And so sometimes you're not quite ready. And usually you react to wildlife behavior rather than anticipating it. And definitely puts you behind the 8 ball when it comes to wildlife photography. So I see several folks from my programs. John, is everybody else hearing me? I'm showing my mic is working, John, so it may be on your end. But if somebody could give just let me know if y'all are hearing me. So, John, check your end. I'm showing yeah, so it's on your end, John. Saying my feed is a little choppy at times. I don't know if that's because of my Starlink, which is yesterday it broke up a couple of times, but my feed is choppy, huh? Well, I wonder, let me see. It could be, I don't have anything open that should be taking a lot of, am I freezing a lot, guys? Okay, no problem. As long as we're getting smooth audio, I'm fine with that. So I apologize for that. I live in the middle of nowhere, and my internet is just something I have to deal with. Okay. All right. Thank y'all for letting me know. Always give me good feedback like that. I appreciate it immensely. So we'll be talking about anticipating wildlife action. And then I have a couple of things I want to give away. One is a client who had extras gave me a Black Rapid sports strap that I'll be giving away. And I feel like that was a pretty nice thing to do. So near the end, I'm going to use a random number generation, and we will give a Black Rapid strap, which is the only camera strap I will use, away. So I've got that. I am going to sell my 40 to 150 cheap near the end. I'll give a really good price on it. And why I'm selling it is because my 50 to 200 came in. It came in the day after I left for my 2-week OM only Yellowstone and Grand Teton. If you don't have one and you want to see a size comparison between the 150 to 400, it is quite a bit smaller. My Australian client had his, and I was able to put it on a camera and test it. Autofocus is crazy fast. And I am really looking forward to using this. I will say, of course, it's going to take up between these two lenses in my camera bag. That's more space, but not a problem for me. So the 40 to 150 has been an incredible workhorse, but I'm just not going to need it around. So I'll be selling that. I'm going to give you all first chance for someone here to buy it. And if there's more than one, we'll use a random number generator to pick the one who. So like the 2X teleconverter with the 50 to 200, I won't be shooting that because I have the 150 to 400. Testing it, he had the doubler on there. I need to do more because where I was shooting it was steam from a thermal feature, which always affects the appearance of sharpness. So to be honest, I can't give you a great answer on that yet because steam in front of a bald eagle reduces the appearance of sharpness. So a lot of people are looking for things in images that aren't realistic when they're assessing image sharpness. So the only place I had it, I asked him if he wanted to use my 150 to 400 for a little more reach. I think it'll probably be fine to test some shots where I won't have thermal feature steam coming into the scene. Okay, so I think it's going to be really good. I'm not too worried about that. And so for me, I feel like it. From what I saw, autofocus was lightning fast. It's smaller. Yeah, you're giving up 200 millimeters of reach, which for me is a big deal. I want that 200 millimeters. So I will never put a teleconverter on here because I won't need to, unless say my 150 to 400 went down, then I will. But no, for me it'll be a pick right up. It overlaps a little bit, which is why I'm selling the 40 to 150. This is a freaking amazing lens, and to be honest, the weight is almost identical. Okay, the weight is almost identical. So it was a no-brainer for me. I knew immediately that I would be buying that lens. So the first day I had a chance to pre-order it, I did. I just wish it had come in a couple of days earlier so I could take it on that workshop. Well, Brazil, meeting this incredible woman from Brazil who, by the way, my wedding date is set April 4th, 2026. And it's an open invitation. If anybody wants to come to Curitiba, which is a beautiful, nice city, it's not crime like Rio and other places. It's an incredibly different city. I'm going to put together a couple of experiences, photography experiences, and do things. So all of y'all are invited. Anybody wants to come, you just let me know. Yes. Can I show the 40 to 150 compared to the 50 to 200? The weight is near identical. I'll tell you that in terms of holding it in my hand. So, boy, this is harder than you'd think. Okay. So the 40 to 150 is quite a bit smaller. But again, if you put a doubler on it, you're 200 millimeters difference. This is our number one selling lens, but I just knew this lens would have faster autofocus and work. There's not the 50-200 will work better with teleconverters than even the 40 to 150, which, hey, I broke my 300 millimeter f4 back in the day in Galapagos. I didn't have the 50-200 or the 150 to 400 yet. And I put a doubler on this and shot the rest of the trip. I broke it on day 3. I got great images with the doubler on this. So I'm sure the doubler on here is going to be awesome. Okay. And by the way, guys, if y'all ever buy gear and you use my affiliate link through my webpage, please let me know. By the way, my website, the new website is out. I'm going to type that into my into the chat. The new site is done. I'm still working on building things to it. I paid to have a lot of it done, and then like an idiot, I deleted one of the pages myself. So if you don't get my newsletter, I now have my own newsletter that comes out normally on Sunday morning. I did it yesterday so people would know about my YouTube Live. Subscribe to my newsletter. It's how you can learn about my mentorship programs. I put the link in for my YouTube videos. I put in little tips, photography tips. I will be in gear, not just camera gear, but other photography gear I use. So it's a great way. It is not long. I'm not going to bombard you constantly. I'm very respectful with that. And so just know that I'm a very respectful news guy. It'll be shorter, just the base, but I will sometimes announce workshops on there and let you sign up first than just to the public. So, and I might be selling used gear and other things on there. That's where I'll list it first, just as a way of saying thank you for doing it. So hop out to my website, subscribe to my newsletter if you don't get it. Well, Brazil it's massive. I mean, it covers almost the same area as the lower 48. And I was thinking one day about where do photographers typically go? And they really go to the Pantanal, where I was at in August, working on an OM system on the Pantanal trip. And I know some people probably get tired of me saying I'm doing OM system only workshops. I'll just be honest. It's way more fun to teach OM because it's so much easier for exposure. And so many other photo workshop leaders don't know jack crap about OEM, and I get tired of hearing my clients say, "Well, I went on this workshop and they couldn't help me at all." I just want to help you learn very detailed, specific stuff. Most people will tell you I teach more in my workshops than any other photographer. I'm always going to do that. Yes, that's right. The thumbs up for me. Yay, man. So most people in Brazil, they go to the Pantanal or the Jaguar. You know, if you go to the Southern Pantanal, you're pretty much guaranteed lots of giant anteaters, toucans, both northern and southern Pantanal. I consider that one destination. Okay, that's a popular spot. Iguazu Falls, the waterfall, which I haven't been to, but I want to get there. It's on the border with Argentina and Brazil. That's another spot. They go to the Amazon, usually Manaus, right? And they may go to the Atlantic rainforest, which is their most threatened habitat, which is near where Easy lives. That is 4 spots. Now, imagine if in the U.S. we only really went to 4 locations for photography. Say you did Yellowstone, you did some part of Texas, you did one part of Florida, and then you did one thing in California. We would say, holy crap, can you imagine all you've missed? Well, that's kind of how it is with Brazil. So, A, in order to be with my honey more, and B, because I love macro photography, you ever Joel's to do macro. Macro is very addicting, and here's why. If I take you to Costa Rica, I can tell you oftentimes when I see a bird image from Costa Rica, I can often tell you where the lodge is and what perch it's on. It's a little boring to me. It doesn't to other people, that's fine. But I mean, I'm ADHD, OCD, and perfectionist, so I get bored on like that, seeing the same crap over and over. Okay. Carolyn says she can't see your link for your newsletter. You know what? I will make sure it's in notes or the comments, underneath, or not the comments, but my YouTube notes under this live. Thank you for letting me know that. Usually what happens is if you dismiss it once or you've been to my page more than once, it won't keep popping it up. I try to be respectful on that. I'll get that link for you. And if anybody pulls that link off my website, just post it in here. The others. So this is what was cool. I was in Brazil, and all of a sudden I get an Instagram message from this gentleman named Ramon. And I get messages from photographers and other things wanting to work, or I send them to others, or I get people requesting me to follow them on other things. If you're, and I limit who I follow so I can see certain images a lot. I can't comment or do everything on everybody's page, and I don't want to be disrespectful. But he said, "Hey, Lee, I'm reaching out to you." And he sent me his Instagram. And normally I click on an Instagram. And guys, remember, I have a lot of friends who are way better photographers than I am, people that inspire me, Lisa Langell. I see phenomenal wildlife and landscape images all the time. I mean, I get overloaded with incredible stuff. So mediocre, good, all that. I mean, it doesn't jump out. And I'm not saying that. I mean, when you know people who you go, oh, I want to be like them, right? Well, Ramon sent me his Instagram. I clicked on it, and immediately I went, holy crap, this guy is phenomenal. I can also say I think Ramon is, in my opinion, one of the best reptile and amphibian photographers I've ever seen. And he's using a Canon T7, which I owned 20 years ago. And when I saw how he crafts light, I mean, my first thought was, holy crap. I'm contacting this guy, and we did a meeting. So I'm gonna introduce Ramon, and I'm probably gonna butcher his last name, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Okay, Ramon Cavalcanti. I did it my best. Ramon, come on in. I'm gonna bring Ramon in. Hey, bud, how's it
You
going?
almost get it, and it's kind of you saying all those stuff about me and my photography. As we discussed it before, I do it like in a hobby, and I'm getting more popular this past few months. And really glad that you like my job, Lee, for real. And really glad to be here today with you as well.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Um, let's both of us let's speak slower because my audio is breaking up through my internet, just to make it easier for them to follow us, especially because you have such a wonderful Brazilian accent, which I admire, instead of my slurry West Texas accent.
No
Um,
problem with that. I will try to talk with slowly. And if it's someone don't understand me, you can ask on chat that I will reformulate my sentence or anything like it so we can be in the
great.
same page. Okay. Hello,
Great.
Brandon.
Yeah. So, guys, one of the cool things about Ramon is, yes, he's a photographer, but he's a biologist right now, first and foremost. Okay. So, here's what I want you to understand: when you have a biologist who's a great photographer and who's going to be a guy, that is a massive advantage. Massive, because that means, even more importantly than habitat, micro habitat. Okay. That means he knows the region, the surroundings. So Ramon, as soon as I met him, and he's very nice, very polite gentleman, in addition to being great photographer, he's so good. I've never done this. I immediately called it on system, and I needs to back because he's using gear to get images. Imagine our gear. I sent the information in, immediately said, gosh, we're not right now. We need to. As soon as we get in, yes, most likely master. You know how many people I've ever done that for? Ramon. That's how good his photography surprised me. Working to craft a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show
Hey, Lee, sorry to interrupt you, but for me, your audio is chopping a lot. I don't know why.
okay. Okay. So when Ramon contacted me, he told me one of the things I that blew me away was
No, you're gone at all. I think that it's because I'm on the live with you, Lee. Maybe, I
okay.
don't know.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, now it's back. Now it's back.
Okay. The Adelopus toads, are they toads or dart frogs? Oh man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me
That's
see
gonna
if
make
I lower my resolution, if it works somehow.
yeah, maybe that. You know what? Let me hide myself. I'll hide my video.
Talk anything. I don't think we are hearing you.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Oh,
know?
I'm so sorry, guys. I have tried every Wi-Fi solution out here, and I can hear my audio breaking up bad right now.
No, your voice is okay.
Uh yeah. Let me
Oh,
see
now
if I
it's
can
okay.
reduce my.
Looks like now it's okay. You're not chopping
I
anymore.
just reduced my resolution to see if that helps. Okay.
Okay, now it's okay. Now I can hear you
Okay.
as well.
So one of the things in his Instagram that was really incredible was, and I may be mispronouncing Adelopus.
At the locals, yeah, it's a Harlequin
Yeah.
toad.
Harlequin toad, guys. I did not know there was a place people could go to photograph them because they're very rare. And he has photos of many different color morphs. Okay. And when I saw that, and I saw how good his images were, I said, yes, I work with you. We've been talking about partnering together to offer you harpy eagle nest workshops, macro workshops throughout Brazil, and even possibly outside of Brazil. So this guy is a biologist, so he has many contacts around Brazil. So Ramon, take a minute and just tell him how your interest in photography developed and what are some of the exciting things about Brazil that we can look forward to.
Sure, sure. First of all, the past few years for me was of exploring Brazil. As a biologist, I work as an environmental consultant. So I study the impact of big companies on our native forests, just like Amazon or Brazilian Cerrado or Atlantic forest, you know. Yeah, yeah, sure. I will share my Instagram with you guys, and I'll follow you all back. I'm really glad to be
Ah,
here.
I'll do that.
And so when I reach out Lee, the first thought that I had was exactly what he was saying. Brazilian is known by Pantanal, Foz do Iguaçu, a little bit, and nothing else. And we are a country big as I don't know, Canadian country or even America itself. So there's so many to explore, so much to show you, and that's the main goal for me. And I'm really happy to find in Lee because he believed in this work that I was doing and wanted to be partnered with me. So traveling Brazil is it's some kind messy because we have a lot of biomes, different biomes from each other. Like savanna, it's way different from Africa's one. We have a lot of physiognomies from the woods over there. So it's an endemic place here in Brazil. Atlantic rainforest is something that we don't have anywhere else in the world with a bunch of different species. All those images that Lee is showing, I've been taking them on Amazon from Brazil. Uh, Rainbow boa, it's not well known. This spider, I love this shot. The Azurius, Dwayne Dart Frog, it's one of my best photos. Sorry.
It's one of my
Anyway,
favorite photos of yours too.
yeah, yeah,
But guys, let me
lovely.
say something about this shot, guys. Look at how he diffused and softened the light. I actually kept a boa in the past, and they're very iridescent. But notice there's no hot spots and how well he crafted the light here. And then a beautiful shot of this spider with prey. So this is one of my favorite shots of yours too, bud. I love it. Go
Thanks,
ahead.
thanks, thanks. So at first we thought about bringing you to the places that meant most for me. I mean, in terms of being biologist and also a photographer, places that I've learned how to make photos, how to use my camera in the best way possible. Like Lee said, I used to I have a T7i from Canon. It's a DSLR camera, so I don't have a lot of features or techniques. I had to learn all of that by taking photos myself with it and changing the light and etc. So no, yeah, I think I lost myself a little bit with the photos, but the first main targets for us in Brazil that we want to bring people to learn photography, macro photography in Brazil, and know a little bit more of my culture because I love being Brazilian and I hate how people see us outside here. There's a lot of misconceptions about our country. So I wanted you to take you the most unexplored places that I've been. The first one was Bahia, that Lee said. It's a Atlantic Forest region, the most preserved one in the world, not only Brazil, because there's some, how can I say, spots outside Brazil, but it's an endemic biome from here, and with a lot of incredible species, a lot of good food, a lot of good people. You know, I'm really proud of meeting there, changing my life, because seeing how people lived there, how the animals were surviving in this small fragment of wood, it's something amazing for any photographer or biologist or people who love nature, being nature, you know. The second one is Amapá one. It's the extreme north of Brazil, northern part of Brazil. Over there, we have Atelopes rugmoede. As biologists, I'm glad to say to you guys that I found a new species of Atelopus. I don't know if you ever heard about it. This species, they are pretty famous on Costa Rica, the harlequin toad. And I found a new species that I'm describing with some friends and my university. And that's something that I really want to give the word. I mean, as biologists, everyone always dreamt about describing a new species, and don't want to just describe it. I want to show it for a lot of people because probably it's endangered in UCN when we described it because we only found it in one place. Anyway, I'm going for Lee. If you want to say something or anything,
Yeah.
please help me.
So, guys, here's one of the nice things about putting together workshops in Brazil. It's very affordable. And one of the things that I
Yeah.
told Ramon I want to do is to have, if you're flying that far, because, it's sometimes an overnight flight to Brazil. There are flights during the day you can get. We want to have 7 days of photography and then a day on each side travel. So we're looking at about 9 days. And right now, between our two macro workshops, one is coming in around, I think, 5,800. I'm not exact. The other one's going to be like 6,400 because Baha'i is a little more popular tourist place. So the cost is more. Whereas the other location, nobody's been going for anything, and nobody does either area really for macro photography. So if you want images of subjects that you don't see everybody else posting, Brazil is going to be an awesome destination. This is one of the Antilopus toads or the Harlequin toads, and they come in pink and white. I mean, black and pink. It's
Blue,
there.
green.
I did not know you could go somewhere and photograph these things, right? So we're also going to put together a Harpy Eagle tour. I just think you guys should know that, like, it's going to be affordable. It's going to be where we pick you up from the airport and take you back. So Ramon is getting great transportation. Sue, if someone who's not a photographer comes because they're taking up a space in the truck and all that, yes, they can come. They're paying the same price because I can't have a lower price for them because I wouldn't increase the capacity of the tour because for transportation, we have a tourist bus and an extra vehicle to put more luggage in so that y'all aren't packed into the bus. In some places, accommodations are a little more basic because we're going to remote areas. But I told Ramon I want as nice a possible lodging, great local food. We're
I
really
searched all of that, guys, to make it cozy for you. Like Lee said to me before, he had a lot of experience by traveling all around the world and had a lot of different experience. Many of them are good with animals, but they aren't that good with the hotel, the accommodations, and all those stuff. So by traveling all those places, I try to get the better lodge for you to be staying, the better food possible. Local cuisine is something that I worship a lot. I love to eat, and I hopefully that you enjoy Brazilian food, and not just that. I mean, the experience of being in Brazil and knowing species that no one else in the world photographs. Believe me, people goes a lot to Costa Rica, goes a lot to Suriname, goes a lot for different places to go warping or macro photography, but we don't have heard anything about Brazil, and we have a lot of hotspots biodiversity.
So someone asked a great question. Okay. Would someone like that be also able to try equipment if they are amateurs? Yes. If you can, let me give you a little secret. My workshops are designed for somebody who's never held a camera all the way up to someone who's been photographing for 30 years. I believe that every great photographer is someone who is always learning. The only people I don't want on a workshop are those who think they can't learn. A couple of times at festivals, I've had come up and say, "Do you teach at your workshop?" And I say, "Well, of course." They say, "Well, I don't need that." Right off the bat, I know you're boring as shit. I don't want you on a workshop. Anybody who thinks they can't learn someone else, it's just who do you learn from, right? Who do you learn from? You got to pick someone who's gone further down the road than you. That's true for any endeavor. When I was pastoring, I had a few people from my church. You don't ever ask us how you should do church. Have you ever planted a church? No. Well, then why would I ask you crap? If I want to rebuild a carburetor, I'm going to ask someone who's rebuilt the carburetor. I say, I go to people who've planted a church and ask them questions. So yes, I would love someone to come. I have extra camera bodies, although I've misplaced an OM1 Mark II and I misplaced something else the other day. Oh my God, it's ridiculous. So I can't find one of my OM1 Mark IIs. I hope I didn't leave it in a hotel somewhere. But I've got extra bodies, and I've got two 60 millimeters. So yes, I have lenses and cameras. I even have an extra Godox flash. Probably have an extra diffuser. I couldn't do that for everybody, but yes, if you want to test out macro gear, I might even be able to get on system to send us some gear, okay, to let people borrow. Yes, I encourage that. I will tell you why. There's not many places in the world that you can go and explore untouched land, okay? Especially when it comes to mammals and birds. But guess what? You can go into a forest in South America and see bugs that you will most likely never get to see again. I've seen the purple pleasing fungus beetle in near Iquitos, and oh my God, I would love to find that thing all the time. It looks like it came out of a video game, right? So yes, I encourage amateurs. The more beginner, the better, because I don't have to break bad habits. I can get them photographing quickly and easier and better with an OM system gear than any other system, because of live highlight alerts. It's easier than ever to shoot manual and nail it every single time. So yes, please bring them. Absolutely happy to have brand new photographers, because macro is like going on an exploration. You guys might find stuff that we don't see. I get clients go, "Oh, Lee, come look at this." And I go over and I go, "Oh my God, look what you found." Birds, that's not likely. You're not going to find a bird that nobody's ever seen. You're not going to, or that nobody's ever photographed, most likely. You're not going to have that happen with mammals. But with macro, you always are going, "Oh my God, look at this." And the more eyes looking, the more subjects you're going to see. You don't run out of subjects. Okay. So macro is a completely different endeavor. If I don't y'all say I said this crap. If I could walk through a South American jungle and you asked me to pick bird, mammal, or macro, which one's going to usually bring me the most excitement, I'm going to be honest and say macro often does. Now, yes, do I love photographing the jaguars and the Pantanal? Oh my gosh. But we see shots from the Pantanal, and I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I will always do the Pantanal. The toucan, say that fast 3 times. Anteaters, jaguars, I love them. But macro, you don't see repetitive images. You just don't. Okay.
I was talking with a
Um,
friend. Sorry to interrupt you, Lee. I
no,
was
you're
talking with a friend, and the magic of microphotography it reveals something that our eyes pass by. You know, sometimes we look to the mosque and don't see all the details that it has, and or any other animals that we are shooting at the moment. So it's wonderful when you open the view screen and oh, holy damn, look at this and the tiny detail that you would probably never see without a net geo net geo post or anything like it, you know. And it's really addictive. I recently bought a really good macro lens, and I was in my backyard like a child taking photos of everything, flowers, bugs, and etc. So it's really how can I say immersive when you took macro photos. You know, that's something really
yeah.
inspires me. Anyway,
That's a good point, man. Hey guys, on my website where I'm building these workshops, the only one that is complete on the website is the AMAPA workshop. That one is finished, and down at the bottom, I give very detailed information on connecting airports, on the transportation and the lodging we're providing. I'm going to try to let everybody know as much as possible. Ramon has provided photos of lodging, the transportation we're going to use, so that there's no surprises. So you can see that the rooms are clean but basic in the Amapa region. We're basically going near the mouth of the Amazon. Okay.
exactly.
And then into jungles that he's familiar with. So I have all those detailed information on there. And on my workshop listings on my website, I'm going to try to help you be aware of as many um, travel details as possible. I also am going to, on my workshops, I will be offering pre-trip Zoom meetings so that we can talk about preparation, travel, gear, things like that. And we will offer post-processing image Zoom meetings as well. Okay. So that will all be down at the bottom. I'm working on them. I'm recording stuff for mentorship programs, traveling, so I'm getting to them as quick as I can. Another person asked a really good question earlier about using the 50 to 200 with a doubler that you supposedly get 1-to-1 macro. I don't even know that I'll need a doubler because if I want 1-to-1 macro, I'll probably go with the 90 millimeter macro. This may be useful though for some of the bigger venomous snakes like a king cobra that I'm going to do on my Grand India workshop. But I'm going to be shooting this to see if I want to use this primarily I use the 150 to 400 with a flash on camera for dragonflies, large damselflies, large butterflies, snakes and other things. But this might be easier to hold with a flash on the camera. So stay tuned for my results of testing that. I'm putting together a macro with barbecue in Central Texas workshop because the barbecue's so good. So I'll talk about that another time. But Ramon and I are going to be putting together some destinations that nobody's done or very few people have ever done. So Ramon, I really want to thank you for joining me today. Guys, he's a super nice guy. Not only will we have you and Ramon and myself, but on some of these other workshops, we'll have a driver and another local guide. Okay. This is a very affordable workshop, and we are going to work hard on helping you master macro photography quickly. Okay. And I'm looking forward to it. And I've asked Ramon to partner with me exclusively on workshops. So, guys, it'll be he and I doing work together. My goal, this guy's so good, I want him to become a full-time photographer. That's our goal, is to help him be able to do this full-time. So watch for some incredible workshop opportunities. And he's got a friend with a small boat. Most people go to the Amazon, get on big river boats. We are looking into a very small boat, Amazon trip with like 3 to 5 photographers max. So we want to put together some unique Brazil workshops, because we have a place that's below 48 with even more diversity when it comes to macro. It needs to be explored more. So, and then maybe Easy will join me on some, and y'all can ask her how the hell I ended up with her. So, oh man, Ramon, I look forward to photographing with you in the field, working with you,
Me
and
too,
guys,
Lee.
undoubtedly join us again in the future, because I'll have him hop on to give you some tips on macro photographing dangerous snakes, things like that. So, Ramon, you'll definitely be with us in the future. I'm so glad I met you, brother. Really looking
Yeah, me
forward to
too,
doing
Lee,
the
for
work.
real, for real. And thank you, everyone. Thank you, John. Thank you, Scott, for everything. This is the first live I've ever made, and I'm really happy to meet Lee and being in contact with this community of photographers. I mean, everyone is so cool and so receptive in a lot of ways, like teaching or learning or just talking about an experience that we had in the jungle or anything else. So thank you a lot, you guys. You make me
My
feel way better.
Yeah. You deserve it, man. Someone who gets that kind of quality work out of a 20-year-old camera is phenomenal. So and these guys know me. I don't say that crap just to make people feel good. I was really impressed right away. So be safe, man. Have a good day, and we'll talk to you soon, bud.
See you, Lee.
Okay. Bye bye,
See you
Ramon.
guys. Bye bye.
All right, guys. Well, I don't know if you can see just how super nice, kind he is. He's he speaks Portuguese and English. I mean, when he contacted me and I went to his Instagram, I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited. OM System Gear is they've really gone hard after macro. I mean, I have some friends, and I won't mention their name. I don't want to embarrass them. I told them for years, they have the big Canon photographers. You need to try OM. You need to try OM. And finally, the other day, hey Lee, we bought some OM gear. I was like, I bet you did. So Brazil is going to be an amazing place, guys. The diversity is incredible. I can't wait. So, but I bet there's a topic too that y'all are excited about. That is, what are some things that I wish I could see changes that OM System would make? And of course, somewhere my notes went away. So let me find my note here. Yeah, I mean, I am in love with my gear. In fact, I'll tell you, yes, I do have an affiliate link, David. Okay. If you guys go on my website, and I need to change the heading because it doesn't make sense, or it doesn't let you know that you can buy on my website. If you go to my website and under the heading gear, all of the gear that I don't know if I have the 5200 out there yet, though. Let me check. If not, I'll post it in here in just a minute. Okay. Let me open up another web page so I can get that here in a moment for you. All right. I love my gear. I've been using the OM3 like crazy for landscape because it fits into my bag so easy. Look how thin it is. Now I've got a new grip that I think just arrived the other day. It's not on there. Okay, David, I'll pull that up for you, bud. Thank you for asking. I really appreciate the support, guys. It helps me do this kind of stuff. So you see how thin it is? I mean, I know some people using it for wildlife. It would piss me off if I used it for wildlife based on the controls. They're ergonomically, it's nothing like an OM2, which is okay. That it wasn't the point to replace that. But for landscape, because of the art filter dial on the front and the computational photography button replacing the AEL button, I mean, I can press the computational button and spin the front dial and go from graduated neutral density to neutral density filter. Lots of different combinations. I use this almost exclusively for landscape on the 2-week OM only Grand Teton and Yellowstone, and I'm very happy with the results. Okay, so I'm in love with our gear, but there's always something that you can go, if only, right? I mean, everybody has their preferences. Everybody has things that they really want or like. And the reality is that I think that there's some things I'd like to improve. Now, this one's not, here's number one, and this one will be no surprise to anybody. the damn firmware update process. I don't know anybody that loves it. And I've communicated with OM about this several times, so this is nothing new. I can honestly say that I think the problem is it's very PC based, and I think a part of that is because of the Japanese engineering culture. So with Macs, it's brutally difficult. Okay. Now, remember, I live in an area I have to use Starlink for my internet, and I do have cell phone service, but the signal, I'm on top of a mountain, so the weather can affect the signal a lot. Now, people go, oh, you just connect your phone to do this. It's kind of like politicians who live in the city and try to tell me how I should live on top of a mountaintop. They don't know crap about living how some of us live. Not all of us are stacked, one butt on top of another, 50 deep in a condo building. And that's fine. I'll probably be in a condo in Brazil. That's fine. I'll live that way too. But that's the mindset of many people who make decisions for engineering, for political decisions, for many things in society. There is no reason the firmware update shouldn't be on an SD card, that we should be able to plug it in. There's no reason related that you shouldn't be able to download your custom settings so that you can see every single one. How nice would it be if it just came right into a beautiful little spreadsheet or some kind of a layout where you could check all of your settings and have it available in case you needed to reprogram. Now, I can program a custom mode in about 2 minutes or less. Yes, going through the whole camera. If you said lead macro with flash, macro without flash, landscape, whatever, I can program a camera in under 2 minutes. The whole thing, no problem. Boom, one custom mode done. I do it. It's obscene, right? So not many people can do that because they're not crazy like I am about this stuff, right? So that would be the number one thing I would change. Put it on an SD card. There should be no reason that if we have a gap in our Wi-Fi or a disconnect from our phone that your firmware bricks and you have to send it in. Okay. That's probably the worst. That's the one thing that I think is not, it's almost inexcusable. I've asked to meet with the engineers, and I don't know. Owen basically said, we don't want you meeting with Japanese engineers. I don't know why. I mean, I can take a stab in the dark, but that's a challenge when you have engineers who probably aren't photographers. All right. I mean, let's be honest. Engineers aren't normally on the front line of change. If you are one, I'm glad that you see the world the way you do. If you're designing a bridge, I'm going to drive over that's 278 feet above the river. I kind of want you to be anal retentive. I kind of want you to be attentive to detail and not open to sudden change that may or may not work. That's okay. I'm fine with that. But it has its downsides. Okay. So number one thing that needs to be changed is firmware updates by SD card. Much quicker download. I don't want to have to use OM Workspace. I don't want to have to use that software. It ought to be click, download, drop it on a memory card, stick it in the camera, update. Would you like to download your custom settings? And you check a box to say custom mode 1, custom mode 2, custom mode 3. No problem. One of the things, let me brag on this. One of the things on the custom modes on the OM 3 is you can name them. So now when I'm spinning through custom modes, I see the name of it. Okay. Yeah, I'll be honest. I mean, here's a comment about the firmware update. It's probably to prevent hacking. Well, then what? My generation didn't need warnings to not eat Tide Pods. So if you're going to be stupid and do something like that and hack into the firmware, I don't give a crap if you brick your camera. You're being an idiot. But see, other camera systems can do firmware updates through SD cards. So I don't think that's a pliable excuse. I understand it might be one, but they're probably the same dumbasses out there eating Tide Pods, and they're the same people that need an instruction on their shampoo bottle. You know what I mean? So did I let a little of my West Texas creep out a little bit there? Yeah, I know some people probably have no problem with the firmware update. You lose your custom settings all the time. Now, I can go in and program it quickly. And if it's aggravating to me, imagine the people that it would take an hour longer to redo their custom modes. And that's just one. So that it's I'm going to be mean. I love them. It's inexcusable. but we're also dealing with engineering mindsets, and that can be a bit challenging at times. And I love my engineering clients. I just had one, and they're brilliant, but sometimes you need to talk to people outside the realm of engineering on what would we like. Okay. What would we like? Devil's advocate. Listen, you and me both can play devil's advocate on a lot of things, so we probably have fun. If you're a good devil's advocate, I love people that can make a great argument against what they believe and hold dear. That tells me when you really know what you believe, and you really have a good clue. So that excludes all the queers for Palestine. Sorry, I got a little political, but if you're one in that group, you don't know crap. Let's see here. Let me get to the link for the 50-100 before I forget, because I know a lot of y'all are thinking about that lens. And guys, you know me, I'm going to do a first impression video. I will not do a detailed review, because if you do a detailed review and you've only owned something for a few weeks, you can't give a proper review. So there is my affiliate link for the 50-200 down below. All right, let's talk about another thing I'd really like to see. And I thought I had my OM2 hereby, but it's also on the OM3. So this little dial right here on the left-hand side of the viewfinder, okay, that little dial, which is also, it's a little harder to see on an OM1 Mark II or an OM1. Oh, there it is. I just didn't grab it. Okay. This is the diopter. This little dial right up here, right there on the side, that's your diopter for adjusting for your eyesight. Well, if you look through the viewfinder and it's blurry, the numbers are blurry, then you've accidentally bumped your diopter. Oh, Chamo Easy. There's my baby doll. She joined in. Chamo Easy. That's my baby doll right there. If y'all just see in the comments, there's my sweetheart. So that it makes a lot of people, they don't realize they've changed that, and it gets blurry, or things are blurry, and you think your focus isn't working. I don't know if this can be done because I'm not the engineer. It would be nice if that could be digitally done so that you couldn't accidentally hit the dial and unsharpen your view. I would love for the diopter to be digital, where you adjusted it. But the problem is it's probably a physical mechanism, I'm guessing. If anybody in here knows, tell me. But I imagine it's a physical mechanism that moves something in here. But maybe that could be done digitally. And then we wouldn't be accidentally hitting our diopter. I think that would be really good. Okay. Related to that, on the big lenses, we have a digital autofocus limiter in the camera. Get rid of the stupid autofocus limiters switches that are so big and generic, they're utterly useless. It's like nipples on me. Utterly useless. Get rid of these because people accidentally hit it and then they can't get focus on an image. This is what would this be like? This would be like putting a mule harness in your truck in case it breaks down. I mean, it's going that it's dated. I don't know why, because it's the way we've always done it. Oh God, that's one of my least favorite phrases in life. We don't need this. We have a digital autofocus limiter in the camera, one of the most powerful features in our cameras. Okay, we don't need this. The only thing it does is screws up people's images. I have a rule in life, in my camera, if it's a setting or a piece of equipment and it royally pisses me off 3 times or more, I have to change it. So like the buttons on the front of the OM system camera, I love them. I wish I could program them for things, but especially when I'm wearing gloves, I accidentally hit them and I can't use them. So, it would piss me off because I'd hit it and lock something and I didn't want, so I quit using them. I turned them off. That's my rule. Remember my philosophy for nature photography is speed first, then accuracy. Okay, speed first, then accuracy. So that the digital diopter, making it digital or electronic instead of physical dial, I think that would be great. The firmware update process I've already ranted on. Here's another one. Y'all know my favorite drive mode for wildlife photography is SH2. Why SH2? 50 frames per second. but it is only usable up to ISO 12.8. So when I have very low light, I need to go to ISO. If I have to go above ISO 12,800, I have to go from SH2 to silent sequential. The problem often is you go to silent sequential and you forget you're there and you don't quite go back to SH2. So I've had sequences I thought I was at 50 frames per second. And guys, if you go, oh, I don't think there's that big a difference, I know instantly when I start looking at my pictures and I go, oh shit, I was in the wrong drive mode, because I don't have as many options to choose from as I should, right? So I want them, and I'm going to send them a message on this, I want to be able to have a drive mode combo that if I'm in SH2 and I change my drive mode above that, it just automatically switches to silent sequential. Then if I go back below, it automatically goes back to SH2. Boom. Then I don't have to keep track of that. The more things you have to keep track of, the less likely you are to do that. So that's what drives how I program custom modes. All of my philosophy of nature photography related to OM gear is driven by that. Okay. I think that would be a great drive mode. Yeah, it is a brilliant idea. I'll give you better. I've had a couple of them, and I wish I knew how to monetize them. Like I told DxO Photo Lab, if they would incorporate AI so that it identified the subject in your image and put the common and Latin name in there, whoever does that first for post-processing will win. More people will go to that editing, that post-processing software. It probably won't get done because it's being done by engineers and they won't think of the importance of it. I'm teasing. So here's another one. If you've paid attention to me lately, you know that I have now changed my camera controls. And here's why. If you use the ISO button to change ISO, when you press the ISO button, a bar appears with the ISO value in it. When that bar appears, your histogram and live highlight alerts go away. So you can't change ISO and get instant feedback on your exposure. But I found if I moved ISO from the rear button to the front dial, because that's what I change the most for wildlife photography. If I move ISO from the rear button to the front dial and I move aperture to the rear button, the ISO button, because I change it some, but not often, guess what happens? I get live highlight alerts and my histogram remains. Why that difference? The bar is not there, so it's that damn bar. I don't need a bar. Just let me change the fucking ISO and don't take away my live highlights. So I have moved. So now in all my modes, because I want to keep it consistent, ISO is changed with the front dial. ISO button is aperture and the rear dial is shutter speed. Now, if you want to figure out how to exactly do that, sign up for my mentorship program. Otherwise, you got to figure that shit out on your own. Okay. So that is powerful. I now have instant feedback on exposure with live highlight alerts, shadows, and histogram for all three exposure settings. Brilliant. But the engineers could fix that by getting rid of the bar and letting us keep live highlight alerts and shadows when you're changing ISO. But if you leave ISO on the ISO button, it doesn't work. I am going to do a cheaper class called Mastering Manual Exposure with OM for nature photography. And I will have a video on the detail of that. I just have to have the time to record it. It will be available for purchase and download on my website at some point. Okay. Another one I want, this is more advanced. Right now, the live graduated neutral density filter is incredible. I use it all the time to give a little more detail, a little more punch to my skies. I've used it on the foreground to hold it back during night sky photography when I have a bright moon. I've used it a lot for different things. Okay. It's linear. Now you can angle it, you can move it all around, you can flip it upside down, but it's still a linear filter like graduated neutral density filter. And that's the way it's always been known, is a linear. But think about when you're photographing mountains at sunset. It's not a linear line, right? Well, how cool would it be if the graduate neutral density filter didn't operate on a line, but it operated on luminance values instantly. That's powerful. So that's something I want to see happen. Okay. So I want a live neutral density filter that's not linear, but luminance based. Another one that is very annoying for me is when you're in the camera and you're changing ISO. If I'm in SH2, which maxes out at ISO 12,800, when I hit 12.8, if I keep going to the right, it loops back around to the low 80. The L is an interpolative value. L80, L100 are interpolative values, whereas ISO 200 is the native ISO. Why do I want to go from ISO 12.8 to L80? That's engineer thinking, not photographer thinking. I want to max out and have to go back down the other way, because if I need ISO 12.8, I damn sure don't need L80. So that's annoying. I don't want it to loop around. Okay, that I don't like. I wish on the grip they would take the lock dial off. That messes people up. There's no reason to have this lock button. You don't need it for nature photography. And if you ever get this in the lock mode, you have just screwed yourself over. If you have a problem, you can't make changes to certain settings, unlock it. I don't need that on there. I hate that. Stop giving us a traditional camera strap. If you have a traditional camera strap attached to these on your camera, you can't disconnect it. It's a pain in the ass. If you have a camera strap attached to your camera on a tripod, you're asking for it to get pulled over. You will never see a camera with a strap attached to it on my tripod. You won't do it. Nightmare. Absolute nightmare. So get these stupid ass little things out of the way. Get those. They're annoying. Take those off. I don't never recommend that. There's not a lot of things I don't like about my camera. I absolutely love it. And I would say those are probably, you know what? The HDMI plug, that gets loose. And something about HDMI micro cables, they break. They're just, and I know we have the little attachment there to lock them in better. I don't have time to fiddle fart around with that crap. I don't know. There's something about micro HDMI cables where you just constantly spend a ton of money. Most y'all probably don't have to deal with that, but I do when I'm trying to show you the stuff. So those are some of the things. Oh, here's another one. So on the 40 to 150 that I'm going to sell a little bit, you see this end cap. Matt, a participant in one of my mentorship programs, printed that out. And I've told this to him. We would all happily spend $50 more on our lenses and our cameras if they had the lens identification on the end cap and the lens cap. Okay. If you would just print which lens this is below here and have this and have a cool OM logo and whatever, who of us would bitch about $50 more for that, so that when your lens is sitting in your bag, right, you know exactly which lens it is? Because yeah, it's easy to tell the 150 to 400 from the others, but you start getting a lot of smaller lenses, and normally in your bag they're sitting like this, right? And same thing to know the different teleconverter caps, because they're different than the body caps, but not easily noticeable, right? Oh, and then the 72 millimeter lens cap falls off all the time. I don't care which lens it's on. There's something about the 72 millimeter lens cap where you're hiking, it bangs on your hip. They pop off all the time. So that's the one lens cap I buy and keep extras. Don't ask me why on the 72 millimeter. I'm just telling you. Another thing that I would love. Boy, I must have that on too tight. So this guy who does this company called Zemlin, I believe. Yeah, Zemlin. 3D prints, very high quality lens cap for the 150 to 400. Now, ProMaster makes a very cheap one. The problem is This one is very deep. So with gloves on, it's easy to take on and off. I hate fiddle farting around with lens caps with gloves on because so often it's so hard to get them on. So we don't get a hard lens cap. We get this, which is great for travel. Okay. But I want this when I'm going through certain things. Okay. I love that. And for me, that's something I would like to see is a deeper grip on some of the lens caps for some of our gear. This is something that Matt 3D printed for me and sent to me, and I'm talking to him about selling these. This is a little perfect grip, right? Perfect grip to hold the 150 to 400. So I'm going to say this, and if you get offended, then you don't know me well. One of my clients said I should market it as Lee's ball sack. I thought, oh God, that's hilarious. I am in love with this grip. Why? Because holding this is not natural for me. This, I don't know how Matt designed this, but he knocked it out of the park. I'm going to look into selling this on through my website where it just slides onto the end right here. Okay, perfect. I love this. Okay, so that's something that that I'd love to see. A different way to hold these. Again, we need the Arca Swiss plate. Don't doubt that. But I love being able to slide that on the end there, get a better grip for that. Man, I tell you what, what a great. Oh my God. Do y'all ever get to go to any other YouTube live like this? I don't know why I have more followers. Well, I kind of probably do. As a mentor of mine once said, Lee, I never know when you're going to say something I want to regret. That was awesome. I need that. Thank you for making my day. I love people with a sense of humor. I think life is too short to not be able to laugh at everything, even things that you consider sacrament, sanctity for you. You got to be able to laugh at everything, including yourself. Life is too short not to. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoy my YouTube lives. Hopefully you learned stuff. If not, what the hell are you doing here? Just show up for the entertainment or so you can see my ball sack on the end of a camera? I don't know. Oh, God. Let's go on to the next topic. Anticipating wildlife action. I really wish I had a little more time to dedicate to this, but, we had so much fun on the other items. I think wildlife action is really challenging for a lot of people because so often when you listen to other photographers teach, they're often teaching you how to react, which is important at times, versus how to anticipate. The more you learn to anticipate, the more visually compelling images you're going to capture. When you can see what's about to happen, then you can know what shutter speed you're going to need, what composition. Do I need to be tight, out further? The more you anticipate, the better your photography will get. So just a couple of simple things that you need to start paying attention to. The body language of an animal will tell you a lot, okay? If you're photographing ducks and you want to know if they're about to take off, their neck is going to get straight and lean out forward. That means they're getting ready to launch. Okay. You need to learn to read how a coyote or a fox that's about to jump into the snow, they're going to shimmy their little back end a little bit. And then they're going to get stiff. And right when they get stiff, that means next they're getting ready to jump. Okay. So maybe you don't have time to go to pro capture. If I see them do the little wiggle, I'm in SH2, I just start shooting. Well, won't you have a lot of photographs? Oh man, yeah, I'll have a lot of photographs to delete. It's highlight, delete. The call of oftentimes shorebirds call right when they've taken off. So you might drop your camera and look, see if you can see them in flight. If all the birds take off at once, there's probably a predator nearby. Something scared them. Can you identify it and photograph it? Or maybe there's an attack about to occur, right? Learning to hear certain sounds as well as see certain things and anticipate is critical. The more time you spend in the field, the better you'll get at this, unless you're one of those that'll say, I think I got that. Oh God, I'm doing a presentation for the Great Plains Nature Photographer, and I'm going to rag on that. If you say that in front of me, you're going to get a lecture. I think, well, what the hell did you get? One shot of that animal? What do you know? My other thing is, I know people who think they know a lot about wildlife, but I can tell they don't. And they'll say, well, I don't really think we need to stay. That's not going to happen. I want to go, well, how do you know that? How do you know that? Because I know you don't know that that's not going to happen. I know you don't know that's not going to happen. But that's the passive aggressive way of moving on when you're ready to move on. And so that's, instead of saying, can we move on? You go, I think I got that. Or I hear, okay. That's the passive aggressive way of saying I'm ready to move on. And if you do that at my workshop, I ignore you and make you stay longer, just try to teach you a lesson. Okay. If you see tension in an animal's body, they may be loading up for a jump, a lift off. Like you can see grasshoppers building up tension in their back legs right before they jump, or a toad or a frog. You know, if they've been relaxing and they need to get in a different position, you really need to try to anticipate that. Okay. Preening, a bird that is preening and bathing. So like a waterfowl, a swan, if it's bathing, they're doing the dipping. If once they stop that, odds are they're going to spread those wings out and flap, right? So if you're in too tight, you're going to clip those wings. A bird that is preening is more easily approachable, or a bird that is consuming prey is more easily approachable. Again, landings. Are you reading the wind direction to help you know what direction the birds are going to land in? If the wind direction is incorrect, the birds are going to be landing facing away from you. So when it comes to wildlife action, books on wildlife behavior, field guides are not normally good for this. Watching great documentaries and seeing how animals behave, learning to be more patient in the field and observe what is going on with certain species and what does it look like when they take off, right? For example, if you know that most nuthatches, or say the brown creeper, very specific species in the U.S., the brown creeper, right? It's going to fly to the bottom of a trunk of a tree and work its way up. Well, when it gets up high out of photography range, instead of walking away, if you'll be patient, it's going to fly to the bottom of another tree nearby probably. So don't walk off, know its behavior, and you can get prepared for the next shot. Those are all some simple examples of things that I think people need to start paying more attention to. The people that are out there, bragging about freaking megapixels, most of them don't know jack shit about animal behavior. Well, quit worrying about megapixels, quit worrying about the size of your sensor, quit worrying about cropping, and focus more on learning animal behavior, and your images will get better. You'll learn how and when you can get closer. You'll learn how and when you need to zoom out. You'll learn how and when you need to reposition yourself, anticipating a shot. Okay. I really enjoyed this last workshop, the 2-weeker in Grand Teach on Yellowstone. The clients were awesome in terms of listening to what I said, field craft, paying attention. I really want to do a lot more teaching in the field on field craft, especially in these macro workshops. I'll teach you how to read when an insect is not going to be cooperative, how to safely work with a venomous snake, how to work with frogs and toads. There's certain things you can do to help get them where you want them, right? So the more field craft you learn, the more you spend time observing your subjects, the better a wildlife photographer you'll become. And I think fieldcraft is one of the biggest weaknesses. A lack of good post-processing. Not the biggest problems are, and they're why I've done the mentorship program the way I have, not mastering your system, not knowing how to use it. For example, I've been experimenting. I learned that with Art Filter 10 number 2, which I love, my clients got to where they were joking as soon as we got out of the car for anything. All right, Art Filter number 2. I said, no, they were joking about that. Art Filter number 2, dramatic. It's number 10. So Art Filter 10, dramatic tone, number 2, the black and white one. I can use live neutral density filter with it. I can't use live graduated neutral density filter. Why, I don't know, but you can. I also learned that if I adjust ISO, aperture, shutter speed, or the neutral density filter, it gave me very different exposures, the look of it, very different. So in Art Filter 10, number 2, I don't worry about my histogram or my highlights. I get a raw file. It may or may not be properly exposed, but I'm going for what result, what is the look I want in the image. I want to share with y'all an image that I'm probably going to put on my wall. And right now I have not a single image of mine on the wall. I like other people's art. That's my new Edward Curtis that I love. You know, I've got a Peterson original field guide plate back there. But this image that I captured using the 150 to 400, some of y'all may have seen it on the my social feed. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, this is a beautiful 60-second exposure. And by the way, I'm quite happy to say I use my Origin Plus travel tripod with the 150 to 400 on it. Outstanding results. Very, very happy with the results. All right, let's see here. Let me find the one I edited, and I'll share my screen with you once I can figure out which. Okay, here we go. Let me go share my screen and share the screen. I want to go to this entire screen here. Right, share, and then I'm going to go full frame in Lightroom. All right. That is using an OM1 Mark II, the 150 to 400 at ISO 200, Art Filter 10 number 2. So that is a JPEG. I did do some editing on the JPEG. That is a 60-second exposure, which I reached by using ND64, the live neutral density 64, aperture f22, and I love the movement of the water. I love the tonalities of this. So I focused on the rock. So this is Firehole Cascades. Most people grab a snapshot of the whole thing rather than looking at micro landscape shots, as I like to say. I really think that you can get some beautiful shots experimenting, learning, trying new things. Okay. So the art filter, I've been experimenting with that like crazy. And, you know, the raw file was too blown out to try to edit to match it like this because of how long an exposure it was and how much light was available. But that's the result. And I will never say out of camera. I don't like when photographers, they make it sound like it's freaking magic. Well, there's post-processing going on in the camera. So it's post-processed right out of the camera. I mean, I don't like that phrase. But that image, let me show y'all a couple more of the results. Here's one I just love. Let me see if this is the one I edited. Yeah, absolutely love this. This will probably go on my wall. Same thing, the 150 to 400 Art Filter 10 number 2, using a graduated neutral, using a neutral density filter. Okay, love that shot. Then let me see which other tight waterfall shot I have. Oh, I think this is pretty. That's not the one. Hold on. Let me get to, I need to go to this one probably in JPEG. Yeah, here we go. Here's some more of them that I really like. Love this. These are more fine art type landscape shots that I've really been enjoying. I like, let's see here. Is it this one? No, I can't remember. I can't remember which one of these I edited right now, and I'm trying not to hold up too long. Here's another. I like this shot. All with the 150 to 400. Yeah, I forced them to get out and do it. One of them at first didn't want to do it, but they were both very patient. And when you get a group of clients where all of them are patient, you can actually spend time and capture better shots. There's nothing worse having 5 people, and all but one are impatient. I mean, all but one are patient. It really messes up your ability to capture visually compelling images. I'll show y'all another shot that I would have never taken in a million years before this. It was pouring rain. What lens was I using? 7 to 14, I think. No. Oh, it was with the OM3. And I think this lens and JPEG probably. So pouring rain. And you know what? My clients would get out in the rain. Oh, I love it when people don't give up due to due to really challenging weather conditions. I can't remember, is it that one? Yeah, it's this one. This will probably go on my wall. So long exposure, using the neutral density filter, heavy rain, very long exposure so that affects the raindrop, and there's fog, so you can't see this is in Grand Teton. You can't see the Tetons behind it. So that's using the built-in neutral density filter and Art Filter 10. And I tried replicating it with the raw file, and it just did not look as good. So that's a JPEG that I may put on my wall. Go figure. So I might do a little series, and these would all look great on acrylic. And they may go, I don't have much space left in my house because I have so many other people's art. But I love that shot too. So I'm really quite happy with Art Filter 10 in certain situations. Let's see here. Dwayne said, I know that waterfall. I bet you did. Let's see here. What else? Let's see what this one is. If a person is just starting to build their OM kit, can you get decent stuff using plastic fantastic 40 to 150? You're talking about the 40 to 150 that's like with the like f4.5 to 5.6. I mean, you could. It's like if you want to race a car, you can get to the finish line in a Prius or a Ferrari. One of them will get you there faster and easier. All right. So yes, you give me any lens, I'll go capture some great shots, but I'll get pissed off using the plastic 40 to 150. I'll get more. It would not be as fun for me. I also understand that everybody's budgets are different. I do respect that. You're looking at a guy who was shooting cheap lenses and cheap bodies. I get it. That was a part of my life. But once you go to a pro lens, you can't go back. But yes, if you're just building your own kit and that's what you can afford, then by God, get it. If you can, it'd be better to get used pro lenses. Okay. It'd be better to get used pro lenses. Let's take a look here. How is it different using the black and white filter using post-processing the black and white? Sometimes your raw file isn't in the proper level of exposure to do it. And sometimes I can recreate the results and sometimes I can't. I don't know how the art filter works in there. I don't know what it changes, but some I can replicate and some I cannot. So that's why. Sometimes I can't. I can sometimes. So I like to compare the result of the filter, and then I'll go try. Like I tried recreating that last image in post-processing. I just couldn't quite get there. What it was is I couldn't see the rocks and the water as clearly. Just couldn't. Weird. I know. Oh, well, this is what you got to know, Elizabeth. These are all internal filters. These are not external ones. These are internal filters. Yeah, these are all things that you can do in camera with the OM1, the OM1 Mark II, the OM3, the OM5s. I think even the entry level EM10 Mark IV. You have all of these filters built in to varying degrees on the different camera bodies. So none of these are external filters. None of the images I showed you were taken with any external filters. So here's another question. Deb said, so did you shoot JPEG and RAW? For certain computational features, you only get RAW and JPEG. You don't have a choice. You'll get both. So the RAW filter often does not have the effect where the JPEG does. Some computational photography features give you JPEGs and some you'll get both the JPEG and RAW, but the RAW will not have the effect. So here's a really good question. Let me pull it up on the camera. Is the 75 to 300 a viable entry-level option for individuals looking to try their hand at wildlife photography? Yes, it is a viable option. Yeah. It is a viable option. It's not a great option. It's a good option. You'd be way better off buying this used and putting a teleconverter on it used. It's a little bit more money. And again, guys, listen, I say about photography, it's nothing but time and money. And if you don't have both of those at times to spare, I don't want to keep anybody out of the hobby, but yes, you can get great. I got great images when they sent me the OMD 10 Mark IV. That's the entry-level camera. I got high-speed hummingbird shots. I got star trails. I got great shots. Nowhere near what I would get with the OM1 Mark II, but again, This is $1,200 or more dollars more. It should be, right? So you need to understand that, yeah, they're tools. They're tools. So the higher quality tool you can buy, the better off you'll be. But not everybody has the money for the most expensive saw to cut, finishing lumber. And if you've ever cut finishing lumber with a high quality saw and a cheap saw, you know the difference. You can cut the wood with both of them. One of them you have fun doing a project, and the other one you have used every word in the book in 3 languages to curse yourself. I know, because when I was younger, I didn't like spending money on good tools, and I learned real quick why it's good to buy good tools. Speaking of used lenses, looking at big berths, are you calling the 150 to 400 a big berth with slight dust that doesn't impact picture quality from a store? Is it on the outside, or are you seeing a little bit of dust on the inside? You'd have to work hella hard to get dust on the inside of this. I've never had dust inside one of my OM lenses. I've had corrosion due to saltwater intrusion, where they still worked, but OM System said, "Oh, we'll send you a different lens." One of the benefits, that's the main benefit of being a ambassador. So let me know which lens you're talking about and see if I can answer that. Yeah, the big one. I don't know how you get dust in there, but given the price increases, yeah, I mean, if you can buy a used one, you probably won't notice it. No. Yeah. I can't imagine dust on the inside of the big lens. Yeah. But if it did, I probably wouldn't be. It depends on how big it is and where it's at. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how much you're saving. If you're saving $2 or $3 grand, yeah, I mean, I'd get it. I've not had dust be an issue on the inside of my lenses for OM. Yeah. Inside a Sony body, it's like whoever designed Sony body said, let's see how we can snorkel dust into our camera body. But yeah. All right, guys, we're at 1 hour and 27. I got a couple of things I want to do. Okay. First thing I want to do is, here's my 40 to 150. Now, if y'all are familiar with it, you know that a lot of people break their hoods. Mine works. You just have to squeeze it correctly. It's a little, I've used it a lot, right? But mine is still on there. Okay. You squeeze the ring in and then slide it off and rotate it. If you don't squeeze this and you force it, you're going to break it. Okay. It also comes, if you'll notice, it comes with a Arca Swiss compatible for this lens. So it's got a stop here. So I'm going to leave that on there. It also has my lovely initials somewhere on there, like you care. And it has the end cap with the body on there. Okay. Now, this has been the #1 selling lens, and I looked at what they're going for used. So I'm going to give you a cheaper price, right? So I'm going to do this $700 shipped, $700 shipped. If somebody wants to buy it for that, post in the comments. If more than 2 people, or if more than 1 person wants to buy it on here, I will do a drawing with a random number generator and do that. Okay. So the 40 to 150 at 700 shipped. If nobody buys it on here, I'm going to post it on my social media, and I'm going to try to sell it with the Arca Swiss plate, which most of them aren't going to come with, and with the 3D printed end cap, if you'd like that, and a still working lens hood. And I see people shooting all the time out in the field with a lens with their hood not on. If your lens came with a lens hood, you should be using it. There's a reason for that. So 700 shipped. That's the cheapest you'll find it for right now, I think. Okay. The next thing I need to do is give away a Black Rapid camera strap. This is the Sport. This is what I use. I have a camo one, but this is black. And why do I like the Sport? Because it snaps under your arm so that it does not slide up and down. Okay. So it's brand new. It's got the newer clasp on the end. I thought it had an Arca Swiss clamp. It doesn't. I thought he had one on there, but he didn't. So this is about $100. This is about $100 camera strap that I'm going to give away. All I'm going to say is if you can just cover shipping, you know, probably $10 or something. That'd be awesome. And if hey, listen, if you win and you truly can't cover shipping, don't worry about it. Okay. But this was donated. I'm going to put Ed's. Let me put Ed's Instagram because that was all he asked. He said, "Hey, just throw up my Instagram." And Ed went with me on Brazil Pantanal workshop this year, and Ed was the client who asked me the most questions by far. And you could see the improvement in his photography. And he just went to Kenya. Here is Ed's. There's his Instagram. So if you want to go out and give him a follow for being a good guy, that'd be awesome. He does post a lot of different images. He travels a lot. So here's what I need y'all to do if you want to try to win the Black Rapid strap. I need you to pick a number between 1 and 500 and put that in the chat right now. So pick a number between 1 and 500. And in a minute, I'm going to share my screen with a random number generator. And we're going to give this away. So to win the strap, post your number right now. I'm going to give you all a couple of minutes or a minute or two because there's a delay in the chat. So between 1 and 500. Oh, wow. Look at all the numbers. And I'm going to check and make sure nobody got the same number. Okay, so far, no duplicates. 62. Black Rapid number 54. Okay, I see someone wants the lens, so I'll get some information from you here in just a minute. Oh wait, 344. Did somebody have that before? No, 350. Man, y'all like the mid 300s, or yeah. Okay, has everybody got their number in? Okay, so there'll probably be a couple more come in. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share my screen so y'all know I'm not making crap up. All right, here we go. Here is so here's the random number generator. See, the minimum 1, maximum 500. Here we go. It goes fast. 1, 2, 3. 456. Okay, who's the closest? I see a 367. Like, all right, there we go. Okay, so we got a winner on that. I will, and the winner who had 483, you know me, send me an email with your shipping address, okay? All right, now let me unshare this. Let me end my screen share. Okay, whoever said you wanted wanted to buy my lens, Lee Hoy, send me a message with your shipping address to here, okay? And you can do Zelle or Venmo. You got to make sure you're sending to a friend. Don't do a purchase because it will take money out. Or I can do PayPal. That is not my PayPal email, so I don't want to put that in here. But send me an email saying you want to buy the 40 to 150, and we'll go from there. So, guys, let me give you all the dates for my next 2 YouTube lives. The 2 coming up, November 20. November 23rd. Okay. November 23rd. Okay. At same time, same back channel, same place. And then December, I think it's 21st. I will be in Brazil recovering from my hernia surgery. I've had it 10 days before, so I'll be fine. So November 23rd, December 21st, November 23rd, I'm going to go over Christmas gift ideas, different types of gear that I use in the field. I'll be reviewing them, talking about them. I hope you guys have learned a lot. It's been really fun. Yeah, Terry, I saw your 483. That's who I'm talking about. So be sure and send me the email. Okay, I saw that one. So yeah, Terry is the winner on the strap. If you will make sure you send me the emails because I won't remember when we get done here. I've got to teach a 2.5 hour mentorship program later today, and I got stuff to record in between. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you learned a lot. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next there on November 23rd, and we'll have another good time. Y'all get out there and go capture some vision.